The launcher we're going to be configuring today is called Rofi, and this is what it looks like by default. So if you just run rofi-show drun without any other options or any other theme, by default it's going to pick the Grovebox Lite theme, which is what you see here. And of course the font has not been customized either, so we're using the default monospaced font, depending on whichever font that you install by default. Now, we are going to be changing that, and the best way to do that is for us to get a bunch of themes that have been made already so that we don't have to go about messing around with Rofi's theme engine and making our own themes. We can do that later, but for now, it's best if we just get a theme that's already been made. And luckily for us, there have been made multiple themes by this gentleman over here. So if we go to 1090x, here, let's go to this place. What do you call it? It was Rofi themes, or actually just Rofi. Now in this repository, which you can get to if you just look for Rofi themes, GitHub as well, should be able to find one by Adi over here, somewhere here. Okay, if you don't, just go over here. This guy's repo, Rofi, and you should be able to see that it is indeed a huge collection of Rofi-based custom applets, launchers, and power menus. Now the one that we are most interested in this repo is going to be the launchers. So if you take a look inside of files, you're going to find applets, colors, images, so on and so forth. You're going to find a lot of folders corresponding to the different functions that this particular repo implements for Rofi. What we're going to be doing is cloning this and using the launchers for ourselves. So let's go over to our terminal here, and then we'll just type in git clone and paste in this repo URL. Now make sure that you have git installed, okay, already. Make sure that it's installed by using a-s or pacman-s git. Once you have git installed, you just have to clone Rofi, and it shouldn't take too long. However, you can also speed up the cloning of any Git repository by passing in depth equals 1. What this does is basically only gets the first commit that you see here, not the first commit, but the latest commit, instead of getting the entire commit history, which would take quite some time. So if we just clone with depth 1, it's not going to take that long. Like, look, instead of cloning 1,793 objects, you're only cloning 460, and so the retrieval of those objects is going to be much faster, 3.41 megabytes per second. Now, if I ls, that's the downloads folder, and you're also going to see Rofi. And here's another thing that you might not have noticed. Now, by default, if you just log into Arch Linux, something of this sort might happen. So if I show you Thunar, this is a file manager. Right now, we have only 2 folders, but by default, whenever you use a desktop environment, something like GNOME or KDE or whichever other desktop environment, you're going to have many more folders than this. So in order for you to get those folders, make sure you have xdg user dir installed. Okay, xdg user dir, I have already installed it, so I'm not going to install it right now. Once you have this, you just have to run the command xdg user dir update, and once you run that, all of the different folders should automatically be populated here, like desktop, documents, downloads, so on and so forth. Okay, now once you run that command, as you can see, it works, everything works properly, and you should get your folders. Amazing. Now, if we type ls, there you go. We should be able to see the different folders here. Now, let's go into Rofi, and inside Rofi, you don't want to run the setup.sh file, although you can if you prefer doing that. We're just going to be directly copying the files that we need over from files into our main .config/rofi directory. So let's do that. Let's cd into files, and here, the main ones that we're going to need is config.rasi, the colors folder, as well as the launchers folder. So let's get that. cp-r -r when you're copying with cp stands for recursive. So copy the folder as well as all of the files inside of a particular folder. And if you don't pass this when you're copying a folder, it's just going to fail. So make sure to pass this in. cp-r, you want to get the colors, config, and launchers. That's it. If you want, you can take the scripts as well, but we're only going to require these 3. If you want to mess around with the other files that you can see here with the launchers, applets, and power menus, you're welcome to do so. Perhaps I'll make a video on that in the future, but for now, we'll just get a theme that looks much better than this one up and running first. So let's do that. Let's copy this to config Rofi. If we ls config Rofi, there's nothing there, so we'll have to create a directory first. So make directory config Rofi. There you go, done. Now we just have to copy this over to config Rofi. There you go. Now, let's show you the different themes that you can pick once you have actually installed the config files as we just did. Now, inside of the previews, as you can see, with type 1, you can choose these many themes. You can choose between these many themes. Type 2 as well, this is what they all look like, so on and so forth. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to be picking style, let's see here, which one's the best. Okay, let's take style 2 so that you can see what it looks like. Type 2, style 2. How exactly do you go about implementing that? Well, let's go to config Rofi. Control L to clear the screen, by the way, instead of typing clear to clear the screen every single time. If you press Control L on your keyboard inside of a terminal or inside of a TTY, it's going to clear your screen. Now let's type ls, and if you want, you can also type ls-l. That just lists everything inside of a list. It looks better, and actually, we can put this inside of an alias. So if we go to zshrc, we look for alias, we should find that there are a bunch of alias options here. Now an alias in a shell is basically a substitute for a particular command. So if I type ls, I can make it execute ls-l instead. Now if I open and type ls, there you go. It just types in ls-l. But we can take this one step further and replace ls with an app called exa. The way you install exa is by typing k-s exa, or you can even install it using pacman. And exa is basically a better ls. Now if I type ls, there you go. There's syntax highlighting, there's different colors, so on and so forth. So exa just looks much better. We will be using that instead. Now, if you want your changes in ZSHRC to be reflected inside of a terminal already open, you have to source home ZSHRC. Once you source it, type ls, there you go. That's how it works. Now let's go to config.rc and let's see what's waiting for us here. Right now, this is basically the bare minimum config file, I believe. We don't have to mess around with this. Instead, we go to launchers and we go to type 2, and inside of type 2, we'll find there's a launcher.sh, and there are the different styles that we can pick from here. So if we open launcher.sh, and let's say we want type 2, style 2, right? Type 2, just change theme to style 2, write the changes, and now if we /launcher.sh, remember, you don't have to actually make this executable because it already is by the green text that you see here, and also the X symbol, read, write, execute for this particular user. So we execute launcher.sh, this is what we see over here. Beautiful. However, there is one more thing that we have to configure. This works, which means that we have to just set this up as our key binding inside of our Hyprland config file. So let's do that. Config hyprland.conf. So let's go here, go over to Rofi for our keybind. Okay, menu is Rofi-show drun. Instead of this, we can just remove this line, or actually let's go over to menu. Let's find where that is. And instead of executing this menu variable, we can do this instead. So instead of executing that, we can just execute config Rofi launchers type 2 launcher.sh. So once you type that in, if I type mod r, as you can see, it automatically opens the launcher that you saw before. Now, let's also change the terminal key bindings and a bunch of other key bindings while we're at it. So main mod is super, that's okay. You can change it to alt as well if you want, if the super key is too far out to the left on your keyboard, but we'll just keep it super for now. And super return is going to be our terminal. So if I press super return, terminal opens. Then kill active, that's going to be mod w. That's what it used to be on BSPWM by default. Okay, then mod m for exit, file manager, floating. Let's make this mod d. So to execute the d menu, actually, you know why this is mod d? Here's a little tidbit from the past. So the reason why most people have their executable, like their run launcher set to mod d, is because d used to stand for d menu. So whenever we used window managers like DWM and BSPWM back in the day, we always used to use d menu as our application launcher, which is why we just set the application launcher to be mod d, which would execute d menu up at the top over here. Little blast from the past for you there. Now, once that's done, this is for pseudo tiling if you want. Okay, yeah, pseudo tiling and toggle splitting between the dwindle layouts, or actually just toggling between different modes inside of the same layout. So let's close this. And with that, we've basically configured our launcher. Now we can still change the font and a bit of the colors if you want to. So let's do that. Let's go inside shared and let's change the colors. So right now we're using the one dark colors, which is perfect because that's the theme we're already rocking. As you can see, colors match up perfectly. And after that, we can also change shared fonts.rasi. Here, let's change the font. We can change it to something like JetBrains Mono Nerd Font 10 or 11. And if you do that, there you go. But notice that there's an icon that's messed up over here. And this also ties into the reason why, if you remember in the last video where we configured our kitty config file, if I open that, there's a reason why I chose the mono variant of the default nerd font over here. And that's because nerd fonts have a couple of different variants. One is the default nerd font without the mono or the propo. Another is a nerd font mono variant. And then another one is the nerd font propo variant. So basically, just keep this in mind. There's no need to overcomplicate it too much. If you are using a nerd font inside of a terminal, make sure to use mono because that's going to adjust the size of the icons properly so that all of the icons line up in a perfect grid, in a perfect monospaced font. Okay, and if you're using a nerd font in a proportional context, as we say, which is basically to say anywhere outside of a terminal, whether it be inside of VS Codium or inside of Waybar or inside of Rofi, you want the text to be displayed properly. So make sure to put JetBrains Mono Nerd Font propo there and watch what happens. So right now this icon is a bit messed up, right? It's a bit cut off and it doesn't look good. Watch what happens as soon as I put in propo over there, write the changes. Ta-da! The icon size is fit properly because Rofi is a proportional context. Here, proportional context just basically means anywhere outside of a terminal where you're using only monospaced fonts. So you do that, choose whichever font that you want, a nerd font, and you should be good to go. You can also reduce the font or maybe even change the font to something like Geist Mono Nerd Font if you so preferred, like this, that also works. Or you could also choose a completely different font. If you were up for it, you could choose something like Adwaita Sans to make it more like this. You could also pick this font, looks pretty good, but again, you have this issue over here. So for that, you can actually implement a workaround, just to go into the style file itself and find the area that's affected by this little icon over here, which is going to be the search button. Let's see here. So it's most likely going to be either the input bar. Okay, let's change the font of the input bar itself. We can change font to something like JetBrains Mono Nerd Font Propo 11. Okay, put a semicolon there, remove this, and now, okay, it's supposed to work, but basically, you're just supposed to put trial and error in order to figure out where it actually is. So let's put it inside of input bar. Now, okay, let's try this somewhere else. Inside of entry, put it there. There you go, it works, right? Propo 11 works. If we reduce the size to 10, there you go. But it only changes the font that's inside of the entry. It doesn't change the font that is going to be in the prompt. So in the message, this is the elements. Okay, this is the list view. Input bar prompt. There you go. So we'll put that there. And now if we, there you go. Perfect. Perfect. We have figured it out. Now, if you want to get the font looking properly over here, but you still want the rest of the app to be using the different font, as you can see here, just make sure to change the prompt font to be JetBrains Mono Nerd Font Proper, and then you should be good to go, as you can see here. Perfect. That's it. That is how you can configure Rofi to look absolutely fantastic, even without writing any of the themes yourself. Of course, if you want to switch to a different theme, all you have to do is just choose whichever style that you want. Let's say I wanted to pick something like style 10. I would just have to go into launcher.sh, change style 2 to style 10, and now, as you can see, this is style 10 of Rofi. Here's another pro tip, by the way. Go into your Hyprland config file, find Rofi, okay, and here put 2 bars at the end of the Rofi command, at the end of this exec command, and type in pkill Rofi. Now what this does is it basically acts as a toggle function. So previously, if you don't have this pkill Rofi, what's going to happen is anytime you press mod D over and over, it's not going to work. It'll basically just stay at the Rofi window that's open. But by adding this failsafe or this condition, if Rofi isn't already running, then kill it. If it is running, then if it isn't running, then run it. Okay, what you're doing is essentially creating a toggle. That's it. If you want this toggle functionality, just make sure to add that in. Quick pro tip for you. And that should be it. If you want to change between different types instead of different styles, just make sure to change your Hyprland config file. Okay, make sure to go to Rofi, go here and change type 2 to style type 1 or whichever type you want. And now you should see that it works. That's it. Now, because of the nature of the theme that we're currently using, it's one dark, which is also matching with Rofi's default theme, so we don't have to do any theming shenanigans, okay, which is perfect. But if you want to change the theme as well, you should be able to figure that out pretty easily. It should be somewhere here. But anyway, I will leave that to you so that you can figure it out on your own if you want to choose a different theme. And that is it for this video. If you want to learn how to make setups like this, by the way, this is just one part of what we're going to be doing inside of this series. And not just that, but if you want to learn how to make a custom theme switcher along with a wallpaper switcher and a hell of a lot more, you can go ahead, click the first link in the description and check out HyperAccelerator. It's a program with over 10 hours of video training where I show you exactly how you can take Hyprland and transform it from just another Wayland compositor rather, and transform it into a desktop environment and much, much more. So if you want that, you can go ahead, click the first link in the description and check out HyperAccelerator. If you liked the video, hit like. If you loved it and want to see more like this in your feed, hit subscribe, and I will see you next time. Stay rising. Mwah.